Okay, we're back in Ballyhaunis again this evening, and we're here in Super Value in Ballyhaunis. And it would be remiss of me not to start out before I introduce you to the people here to mention that way back Super Value started in Main Street with Paddy and Josie Ryan, and they developed the Super Value from originally VG, and as time passed they did what was necessary. They developed and diversified, and they grew and expanded, and they moved premises a number of times, and eventually ended up here. And they brought it so far, and now time has moved on, and it's been taken over now by the Nolan family, and we're going to introduce you to them this evening. So we have Jeff and Mary, and we have Karen, and I should have checked before I came on this evening. Is it Karen Kilban or Karen Gildee?
Karen Kilban.
Karen Kilban, that's all right. And you're both all very welcome. And just before we start as well, I just want to mention a little caveat that some time ago I was having a chat with Mary, and before we started doing these interviews at all, I threw my idea at her, and she mentioned a certain place where this kind of project was going on, and I have to thank you for it this evening before we start. We won't mention now in case there's any rights issues involved or anything like that. But, I have to say thanks to your suggestion at the time that I ended up doing this series of interviews. So, first of all, I want to welcome both of you to Ballyhaunis, Jeff and Mary, Nolans, and we're delighted to have you along. And I suppose start this evening, maybe get an idea of how you ended up in Ballyhaunis, or maybe tell us a bit about yourselves, your background, how you ended up in this business, and maybe get around how you ended up in Ballyhaunis.
I'll probably start with this one. Well, I've been in grocery retail pretty much all my life since I was 16, 17, around that, both in part-time and Duns, and eventually worked my way up through the ranks and became a manager in Duns and a variety of different roles around the country, finishing up like managed stores in Ballyhaunis, Galway, and the Midlands, as a store manager. So over the next 15 years till recently, I was a Super Value regional manager in all over the country, basically, covering a number of stores, kind of advising retailers on best practices and that sort of thing, operations. From Dublin originally, myself and Mary lived in Tullamore for 15 years or close to that, up to we moved here. So yeah, it's kind of all I know. It's kind of was always a born ambition of mine to run my own store when you're called to retailers and seeing the different kind of ways of going around business and how they adapt to change, and coming out of that was kind of always what I wanted to do, being self-employed and give it a go, basically, So that's how we ended up here.
And this is your first ownership?
It is, yeah, it is. It was always something. It was always something I would have spoke to the management team and most about opportunities, possible opportunities around. So we looked at a few over the last number of years. We lived in Castlebar, myself and Mary, for a couple of years. So we lived in Galway, Athlone, all around the west. So we're very, very familiar with the west, in particular Mayo. So when the opportunity came up, when we heard that Pat and Willie were looking to move on, we looked at the store with the management team in Musgrave, and it was a great opportunity at the time. So we set about making our goal to kind of take it on. So Pat and Willie, thankfully, were looking for out, and we were looking for it, and so it was a match made in heaven for our team for both of us. So that's it. That was September 2019 when we started.
So Mary Roundabout earlier on, you really had a baptism of fire when you mentioned 2019, into 2019 coming in here, and we all know what happened shortly after that. What effect did all that have on yourselves and on your starting off?
Well, like the whole country, you were in the unknown. You were thinking on your feet. For us, we were very grateful to be trading and open, from a business, but from a personal point of view as well. Like that, we were only here a very short time, and we had moved our home, moved our kids, so we really wanted this to work, so that was very important to us. So for that, we were grateful that we could stay open. But there was a lot of work to be done behind the scenes, like that. It was new to us as well, so we followed all the HSE guidelines. Musgrave were a great support as well, you know, to all the stores around the country. So we would have just followed the letter of the law there and taken every guideline because we knew it was what had to be done. It was stressful,
Yeah, yeah.
but like that, everybody was great here. The staff were absolutely fantastic. They just got behind it. You know, half the country was at home. They were coming to work every day. They never let us down. And we, you know, everybody just got together and muddled through it like everybody, you know. So
we'll say, Karen, you're a member of staff, you're a floor manager. I don't mean to belittle the say member of staff, but from a staff perspective, it must have been tough as well working through that period.
It was very tough at the time, but it was so busy. We hadn't time to think about it. Like, you know, it was absolutely crazy. I'll never forget the day that the schools closed. Oh my God, it was crazy here. There was queues everywhere. But as a team, we all just got on with it. We all knew what we had to do and just keep the shelves full for everybody. That's all we were doing. Yeah.
The one thing I've noticed since I come in, I'm not sure is the building any bigger or not. It seems to be twice the size it was. You seem to have done a lot of work in layout, or is that?
Yeah, well, going back to when we started in September, we would have had, even before we landed here, we would have had plans and refurb plans to kind of, when we got in, got our feet in and up and running, we had plans to do a full revamp. So basically, everything has changed by part of the floor. So literally everything has changed. But yeah, I suppose that's from a customer point of view, get the customer flow right, opening up the windows and taking down a couple of bulkheads. So that's probably why you were saying it looks an awful lot bigger. But in fact, the footprint hasn't changed. It's 11,000 square foot. And we put in the post office and changed the kiosk around. So we probably lost some floor space with it. But lighting plays a huge role as well. New lighting kind of would make the place seem an awful lot bigger. But no, it hasn't changed size at all. Just brought it to modern kind of look and feel for the store.
I'd imagine if there's Pat and Willie that were here today and the post office landed on top of you, it would have been a big challenge. But in your case, you were starting from new anyway, so probably was just
it was just one of those things. We knew again before we landed, we knew the post office was part of our plans, and we had made the decision to go after the post office when it became available. So everything was a challenge at the time, you know. New business, getting to know the staff, getting to know our customers, and the customers have been great, embracing the change, like, you know. And the staff, like, since we started back in September 19, we've doubled the size of the staff, the team here, like, you know, and we've a great team. We've a really experienced team, led by Karen. A lot of great, fresh staff who our customers know really well. And we've added an awful lot of staff to the shop floor or the checkout area, you know. So it was pretty much change every week. Every week was something new happening. Post office, then we opened that in November, and that's pretty much a lot of it's dictated by on post the way they want it, the size of it, the location. It's kind of you kind of do what you're told, but on post, you know. So and that seemed to be the way on post had been going across the country. They've been chasing supermarkets type locations, I suppose to take costs out of their running, and for convenience for customers with parking and that sort of thing, you know. So that was November. Then we had Christmas, and then we were back to the grindstone, the revamp, January 2020, and literally a few weeks in, you were hearing the whispers coming from China, you know. So COVID landed in the middle of March, and it was our revamp plans were kind of paused, stopped. It was just literally trying to get the basics done for our customers, trying to get product on the shelf, and the staff, as Mary and Karen were saying, were brilliant. Like, really, really anxious times for our staff. We had huddles and meetings in the stock room. Some of the staff not want to go out onto the shop floor, very, very nervous about dealing with customers. There was no masks. We just got into sanitising our hands at the entrance. And then the guidelines changing every week. You can't do this, you have to do that, you know. So there's a lot of adapting. Like the self-checkouts that we put in a week into the lockdown was never our intention to put in self-checkouts. And then we probably would have sought some role from the future. But we put them in 1 week. We made it called CV and Claire Morris a week after the lockdown started. And the next Monday they were in, you know, and within 2 days, over 50% of our transactions were going through the self-checkouts. People didn't want to be talking to checkout staff, they didn't want to be handling cash, they wanted to get in, do their business and get out the door as quick as possible. So it was a very, very stressful time for the team, you know. And thankfully, you know, they rose to the challenge. And it's still tough, like it's still not easy wearing a mask for 10 hours a day, dealing with customers, you know, face to face, and some customers can be challenging, you know, when it comes to COVID practices and that. So it's been hard, but like Mary said, we're very grateful that we can stay open and trade, because we're one of the lucky businesses that could trade through it, like, you know. Some stores, some businesses closing their doors and pulling shutters down. Terrible time for everyone, but so that was COVID. So we got the revamp done this time last year. Actually, we finished the revamp going into the bank holiday weekend, and we were lucky then in terms of the construction industry that plumbers, electricians, the painters, the Morris brothers who led it from start to finish were fantastic as well. And it was very challenging for them that they had to work in kind of cocoons where they couldn't be crossing over. So that was challenging to get the revamp done. So we didn't know whether we were going to be down tools at any time. We were just kind of watching the news like everyone day to day. So thankfully we got it done with no disruption to the revamp plan. But yeah, there was disruption for our customers alright, but we just needed to kind of rip off the plaster, get it done in one go. And then when we finished that, it was just head down to Christmas. And this time last year we were in level 5 lockdown, so it was different town, you know, around it. It was a very stressful time for everyone, especially for the businesses that couldn't open, like, you know. So that was the revamp, and that brought us to Christmas last year, you know. So it's not gone yet.
So Karen would say, being involved in management here, I assume part of your job was training all these new staff to come in, and must have been difficult enough.
Yeah, it was at the time because we were so busy as well, but we got on with it, and we've great staff here, absolutely brilliant, like, you know, we get training on site, and we all just did our best what we had to do, so, and they're all great, absolutely brilliant.
Do you operate with the stick or the carrots? Which?
Oh, I'm very nice.
Just get on with the job. The one thing I thought about there was, when I think of Tullamore, I do a bit of business in Tullamore myself, and I always think today it's a lot like Ballyhaunis used to be back in the. Ballyhaunis was originally a market town, and we had a hotel in the centre of town. And the hotel kind of was, when you go to Tullamore, I can't think of the hotel that's in the centre of town.
Bridge House.
Yeah, Bridge House. And like, I always think this hotel in the centre of town is a great asset, and you see the retail shops and people in the streets, and even today it seems that maybe it's not as good as it was, but I've been there recently, and you'd see people on the streets and people who go to retail shops and that, and I miss that about our own town. I'm just wondering, is it in Tullamore, is it still a progressive town? And still?
Well, let Mary talk about Tullamore. She's proud of me.
Okay.
There would be still a lot of long established businesses that have stood the test of time there, but like every town, I think, especially the late 2000s, you know, they were hit hard as well. There was an awful lot of empty units, you know, but there is still a buzz about it, you know, and there is still a lovely town centre, and, you know, there's always a little bit of activity and that. But no more than any town, it's had its highs and lows and been hit hard as well, you know. There's but a lot of industry in the town as well, so there would be good employment too. So.
And then you have family yourselves as well.
Yeah. Yeah, that was one of the worrying things, I suppose, about making the change was the two lads. You know, thankfully they were at a great age. They were 8 and 10 when they made the move. So, but like that, fantastic school. They made great friends, and the sports clubs have been second to none. Like, so they love their GA, they love their sports, of soccer, rugby, polo, golf. So they're busy, you know, and there's nothing better than sport to kind of get people together and make friends, and so they have great friends.
We were so impressed with how much there was for them, you know, like that. We were coming from a bigger town where there was plenty, and they were involved in it all there as well from the age of 3, yeah.
Oh, okay.
And they loved it. I mean, it was what they wanted to do. So coming to here, we were just blown away by the choices they had, like, and it was the make it of them, wasn't it? We were
Yeah,
literally up at the
absolutely.
GA pitch at say the second day.
Yeah.
We landed. We weren't actually in the shop yet,
yeah.
and we were up, and they just haven't looked back since. They've been brilliant. Yeah.
But that would be a big draw if it wasn't working. I mean, no matter how good business was here, if the kids aren't happy.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. It was the biggest worry
Yeah.
for me, definitely, about it. You know. It was,
And I'd say, is there anything else to come? Like you've done a serious amount of change since you came. Is there
Yeah, exciting plans for next year. They're kind of only in planning at the moment. Like a few good ideas. Like we finished the year off with introducing the new ice cream, blue ice cream, and frozen Fanta. The ATM, unfortunately, was a situation where obviously we had to kind of roll in behind and try and get some ATM service for the town because the way we were left high and dry by the Bank of Ireland in the town wasn't great. So yeah, we put the ATM in there and the new ice cream, the frozen Fanta. Just exciting new plans. I don't want to reveal too much yet.
Okay.
Good ideas. We'll be overhauling our coffee soon in the next few months, adding new varieties. So Frank and Honest are doing a job there. And another, like I think you have to earn kind of customers coming in. You have to stay modern. You have to kind of evolve. You know, you kind of always have to stay fresh. And the customers' shopping habits are changing rapidly. So the likes of the Happy Pair vegan day yesterday was National Vegan Day, or today, sorry. So Happy Pair, who are exclusive at Super Value, people know Happy Pair, the two brothers. So they have an exclusive range with us, and that'll be one of the next initiatives we'll introduce in the store. So it'll be like a big orange fixture that's going to land in the first aisle. Like, so that's going to happen in the next few weeks. And we've another good idea coming for the car park area, so that'll be probably the middle of next year before that lands. But yeah, you're kind of always thinking about and copying. So there's great retailers around, be it Super Value or otherwise, where you'd see they're doing something and customers are engaged with it and it's working out. So you kind of always have to keep your finger on the pulse to see what's new, what's next. You know.
Yeah, the other thing I know you're prepared for this, but do you have any facility? We said there's a lot of people from other countries in the town. Do you have something for them as well?
Absolutely. The diversity in the town, the amount of different nationalities that are here, as you well know, we try and cater for them as best we can. Like we would have what we call a recommended range for a supermarket of this size, but we have to change that because we have in the town to cater for what the customers are looking for. Syrian, Pakistani, Lithuanian, Latvian, Polish, Croatian, some African countries are shopping with us as well. And we'd have a few different suppliers that supply particular products. So we've introduced a new range this year of Pakistani, Syrian type foods. And we have kind of what you call mainly kind of Eastern European type. And we've only a new supplier taken on board there, Bolognese, so supplying us now. So yeah, you have to cater for what you're looking for because everyone has different tastes. And like you were saying, customer shopping habits evolving into more health. So our fresh food areas like kind of change. We'd have a range of fruits and veg that wouldn't be kind of common in the store of this size. You know, it's because of the nature of the town, which is great. Like.
Okay, well, look at. I don't know, is there anything else you want to get out there during the interview or not? But I personally would like to welcome the Northern family to Ballyhaunis.
Thank you.
I think you've been
Thanks very much.
an asset to the town since you came, in employment, in the way you've updated your premises, and this area here. I'm not sure, is this area active yet, this area now?
It is, yeah. It's had a kind of a stop-start kind of experience, unfortunately, with the lockdowns. You know, where sit-down areas and cafes and restaurants were closed and you had to sign in. So this is literally just for grabbing a cup of tea, grabbing a coffee, sitting down, or grabbing an ice cream, sitting down. But yeah, it's active at the moment. For the moment, so.
But in an ideal world, it'll be a bit more kind of.
Oh yeah. In an ideal world, when there's more, like for instance, the schools aren't allowed out of the school now because of COVID, like you know, so you would have had a spillover from the students coming in, bits and pieces of it. And that's stopped at the moment, like you know. But yeah, in the future it'll be busier than it is at the moment. No, like we're we're delighted, and I'd like to thank our team, our staff, for the welcome we got coming in. We're into our third year now, and it's been fantastic from day one. And they've been great dealing with the change, because no more than the change that we were bringing, actually COVID is unfortunately the backdrop to most of it. So the team have been fantastic.
Okay.
We're very proud of them.
Okay, well look at on that note, I think we've covered a lot of stuff there today. Once again, I welcome the Ronan family to the town. Glad you've settled in, and glad the kids are happy. That's happy kids, happy parents, and good management is very important as well. Cars stick with whatever method she's using, it's working. I'll say that much. So maybe a combination of both. But look, at once again, glad to have you here in the town. Made a great improvement here. The Ryans ran a very good business while they were in it. The time has moved on and they've moved on, and Pat and Willie were the last two here, and I went to school with Pat Ryan actually, so I'd be a friend of Pat's.
Yeah.
And so look, it's onward and upward from here. You had a very challenging a baptism of fire, as you called it earlier on, since you came, and I just hope the rest of the journey is a little bit more smooth. And I wish you luck with your future business in the town. I hope everything goes well for you, and hope you stick around for the long journey.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thanks, Mark. Thanks very much.
Thanks, Adam.